Mickey Talks.
It is show 61 here at Mickey Talks. I am so glad. Got a great guest today we're going to get to in a little bit. But, Matt, it is amazing to me that I'm saying show numbers now that start in the 60s.
61 today, man.
2.5 months ago, I was homeless. I didn't have $42 to rub together. I said that wrong. I didn't have $4 or $2 to rub together.
Right.
And here we are now.
In the same situation.
I'm exactly the same, but I got a show, damn it.
Right.
We got a show that's kicking
We do have
ass.
a show, yes.
And that's all that matters to me, my friend.
Yep.
Is the kick-ass show. How was your weekend?
Weekend was good, you know. I mean, it wasn't the greatest weather for what I did. We were at the pool for an event, and then we did the Father's Day cookout. So I was grilling some burgers and dogs.
Nice. I went, my youngest couldn't make it Sunday morning. I had to work yesterday. By the way, I've worked every Father's Day now for 7 years.
Have you really?
Yeah.
Is there a reason for that?
Yes, it's the first bikini contest at Red Eye's Dock Bar.
Father's Day is?
Yes, that's how they kick it off every year.
Yeah.
And I've been the host all 7 years.
Yeah.
So when you're in showbiz, you miss holidays.
Yeah.
And that's I'll be honest with you. There are 2 holidays I swore I would never work. Well, really, I guess technically it's like 5, but I would never work Christmas or anybody in my house's birthday if they didn't want me to. It was like just the thing where I was like, those are the people I love the most, and I love Christmas. If I can't figure out a way to just not work 6 days a year, 5 days a year, shame on me. Father's Day is a day where I wish I didn't have to, but at the same time, it's for me, right? I'm the dad. So I
should have had your kids drive you across the Bay Bridge,
so
man.
Here, my Bub almost went with me.
Did he?
Yeah, he's been before.
Yeah.
He loved it.
People don't know you don't drive across the bridge.
In fact, I put on Facebook yesterday, it was the worst I've ever felt going over it. And let me tell you why, Matt. This is insane. This is why.
Even with a driver.
You know how people have like a emotional like support dog?
Yeah.
I need a support person, like somebody with me that can know. Because sometimes shit, I'm driving to that bridge and I started thinking about like Israel and Iran. And then Iran said that U.S. is going to pay for it. And I'm like, great. I'm on the fucking bridge when they take it out. Because, you know, what's going on. That's right. The shit I
Your
really think
imagination's
about.
Going crazy.
Yeah, and then when you're paranoid on top of it and scared to do something anyway, that ride over the bridge yesterday.
Did you drive by yourself or you
No,
had someone drive
are you crazy? Are you out of your mind? I told you this story 100 times. If my daughter's on the other side being held hostage at gunpoint and they say, drive over here or she's dead.
We got to do this. That's going to be a show one day, man.
The bridge?
Yeah, the
me
bridge.
driving over that?
Driving over the bridge by yourself.
Okay, let me tell you when that show's going to air.
Seat.
Yeah, well, I'm going to be in the back seat because I can tell you I'm never driving over that bridge.
I'm going to hypnotize you, and you will.
If you pull that off, the end of that video will be me pleasuring you in any way you see fit.
All right, we're not doing this. Forget it.
And by the way, pleasuring you could include just me thanking you profusely. Today's show, as always, brought to us by Barnes Paving. Good people at Barnes, BARNES paving.com. Incredible service, incredible quality in their work. MHIC licensed and insured, and part of the Better Business Bureau with one of the best ratings you'll ever see in their industry. Plus, if you give them a call right now, they will take off 10% if you mention Mickey Talks.
Big jobs, small jobs, they do them all.
Hey, Matt, today tells me something. That's the first day I've done a sponsorship for them. No notes.
Off the cuff.
Did you hear that?
That's professional.
No, that's just dedication from Barnes Paving that they've stayed with us this long that I can now do their endorsement without notes. Thank you, Barnes Paving. And to the listeners and viewers, please call them.
Yeah, special sponsor to us. Very first one ever.
The first one ever.
Yeah.
Yeah, without a doubt. I'm gonna eventually if they stop being a sponsor, which I do not blame them if they call me tomorrow and said we're done. They're responsible for us being here. But if they what I'm gonna do, I guarantee you I'm gonna invent a bit on this show with you, and it's gonna be called the Barnes Paving Hall of Fame mention. They will always be a part of our show one way or another. Right. And if this show works out and we're billionaires off of it, like a Rogan or something, they're going to be a Barnes Paving thing behind us. Just as like in thanks.
Yeah. We'll throw them a big party.
Anything they want. I'm not doing any paving work for them, though. I'll tell you that much. I don't know how they do that shit.
I don't know either, man.
Dude, 110 degrees. They're out on asphalt.
I'm soft, Mick. I'm soft.
All right, listen, you're going to have to talk to the wife about that part, but I can't help you. All right, buddy, let's get into it. I want to bring our guest in right away. He's a good friend.
For sure.
And he's a funny guy and an interesting story, but I'll bring him on right now, and then we'll talk about it. Good friend of mine, comedian. I'll let him talk about his restaurant as well, and that's Nick DiCarlo. What's up, buddy?
How's it going, brother?
Good, man.
Thanks for having me.
He's got a great voice, too. I like his voice.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean?
Thank you.
So,
Radio pipes.
So let me tell you something interesting. Nick's dad, about less than a year ago, whatever, 7-8 months ago, reached out to me one time. And I know his dad because years ago, I'm like 15 or 16. I'm not making this up.
Yeah.
I don't think I had done comedy yet. But
yeah, because you were like, what, 16? Your first gig, something like that? 17?
You know, I started thinking about that last night. I think I might have been 17 going on 18, or 16 going on 17. Anyway, the point is this. His dad saw me. Do you remember the Fullerton fireworks? I don't even know if they still do them there anymore.
Definitely.
So I used to go there every year. That was like our fireworks. And one year, I got up on stage and was breakdancing with my buddy Louie. And afterwards, Nick's dad, Mike, he's like a guy that like threw big parties at like halls and stuff, you know. And he came up to me. He's like, "Hey, I'm throwing a party this Saturday. Why don't you come dance at my party? It'll flip people." That's when breakdancing like was new and people were like amazed.
I would kill for some of that video, man, if it exists.
Yeah,
Does it exist?
There's one out there, but I don't know who still has it. I got to find it.
Let's play it on the show tomorrow.
If I could find it, I would do it in a second.
Right.
Anyway, so his dad said, "Come do this party." And I'm like, "Dance?" He's like, "Yeah, I'll give you $150, you and your buddy."
Wow.
We were like, "Oh my God."
And that's great money for a kid, and especially for that time, too.
Dude, it was like somebody saying today, "I'll give you $500.
Yeah.
So we go that night. My buddy Louie drove. I didn't. And we got there, and his dad was like the coolest dude. He's like, "All right, look, you're going to get up a couple times. You're going to dance. The DJ will tell you when to do it." I'm like, "Okay, man, cool." He's like, "All right, great. And by the way, you little son of a bitch," like jokingly, but like, he's like, "No drinking. No alcohol, man. Eat anything you want. No drinking. I can't get in trouble. One of you little bastards gets drunk, screws me up here." And I'm like, "You got it." And then that night, I bet me and Louie each made $400 or $500. People were just throwing money at us.
They would tip you like
it was
strippers.
Crazy. And the first time I ever performed for money, Nick, thanks to your dad. Now that's out of the way, let's get into you.
I
Man.
definitely
you guys
saw
know
a
each other at that point?
What's that?
I wasn't even thought of. I wasn't even
He's like, what are you?
I'm
are
35.
You, So I'm literally 20 years older than
right.
Yeah, I wasn't even a thought in the ethos yet.
Yeah.
But, there's definitely a picture of that.
Is there
I've
really?
definitely seen a picture my dad has. I think he'd probably have to pull it up somewhere, but I think you're wearing like high tube socks,
without a doubt,
with like yellow stripes on them, like the old
makes
classic
sense. Yeah,
tube
makes
socks.
sense. Makes sense.
You got to get that. This would be perfect. For the show.
Nick, if you can find that one, dude, that's a blast from the past. So I get a call from Mike, his dad, the last year, and he said, "Hey, my son Nick is a comedian. We got the restaurant. What's the restaurant, buddy?"
Riverside Pub and Grill. It's right off exit 80 in like the Bell Camp area.
Food's phenomenal, by the way. I mean, like next level. You see a pub and grill, and you go, "I'll go in there and get chicken tenders." No. It's
good stuff.
Oh my God. Yeah. Anyway, so you get that. So he's like, he's going to start an open mic night. Can you come up? So I couldn't make the first one. It's like the second or third one. Now, meanwhile, at this time, I'm at the lowest point I had been, like depression wise.
Right.
And this was over this last winter. And then finally I went up there one night and I met Nick and a couple of his buddies that had started doing comedy together. And I was like, wow, these dudes are doing it right. You know what I mean? Like there's a couple guys got together. They got a little scene they're trying to make. And then they were doing it. And it also allowed me for the first time, like I felt like I was nowhere near anybody I knew. Because, you know, it's like kind of up there a little bit.
Yeah.
And you guys had your own little scene away from all the other comedians.
I was going to say, Hartford County's becoming its own thing now, isn't it? I mean,
the Hartford County scene in the last like couple years
has exploded.
Yeah, I've only been doing comedy almost. It's coming up on 2 years now, but like the last few years, it's been crazy. I mean, just the whole scene's been nuts.
And a couple of your close buddies, especially Dom.
Yeah.
Who screwed me on a show, but I'm not going to hold it over his head. I'll get his ass one day. Don't worry. I'm kidding, by the way. Bam is incredible.
Yeah, Bam's
Yourself, Dave Jones.
Yep.
I mean, I'm forgetting people. Forgive me.
Lucas Spinoza.
Oh my God, who's the lunatic?
Brandon Castle.
Now let me tell you about this guy.
He's insane.
Yeah.
I say insane, like I don't mean it like as a joke. I mean this motherfucker is out of his mind. Am I right, Nick?
No, yeah. I mean he
the
was
nicest guy
nicest
you'll
guy
ever meet.
One of my best friends ever.
Yeah.
He's a lunatic. He's been doing comedy a little longer than the rest of us, and
he has suffered from it from however old he is.
Yeah, he was an electrician. He's like a jack of all trades. He was an electrician, a plumber, very Jewish. Wears a yarmulke,
like
very visibly Jewish. If you see him, you're like, okay, that guy's Jewish.
Yeah. Either that or he's making fun of Jews. That's how Jewish he is.
He's a Jewish cartoon.
Yes.
But no, he is like he'll tell you he's been shocked 1,000 times when he did electrical work. And you're like, that's starting to make sense. It's all starting.
Is that
to
where you
sense.
get comedy superpowers?
Dude,
I might try it.
I will say this: when we went down and did that show at Twain's Tavern, on probably the worst date we could have picked, right? Memorial Day Sunday. It was not very crowded, but Nick came down and Bam came down and he came down.
Yeah.
And he was like, I was like, "Do you want to do a couple minutes?" He was like, "Oh my God, yeah!" And then I think Dave came down.
Popped up, yeah.
I'm like, "Just let everybody get up and have fun." Well, the lunatic, said he'd host it.
Yeah.
Now my deviant, insane mind instantly went, "Fuck yeah! What a shit show this is gonna be."
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, he did a great job.
Oh no, he's a great host.
He stepped right the fuck up. I mean, I was like, "Oh my God, man!" He was really good. But man, when you see him, he'll literally stop a bit in the middle of it, which I love. He'll do something and go, you know what? I don't think this is working. Let's talk about and he just doesn't give a shit. He keeps going.
Right.
And but the thing I like is that none of you are the same. None of you are the same, yet you all are the same about comedy. That's the thing that attracted me to you guys in the beginning. Like you guys understood comedy. That first night we all hung out, standing out front.
Just shooting the shit.
I remember driving home that night like, these dudes get it.
Yeah.
Like I don't, there's comedy scenes, different parts of town, right? That whatever that thing is in Hamden they have. And there's some good comics over there. Don't get me wrong. Whatever's going on down the port, good stuff. Don't get me wrong. But like, I hadn't seen a scene where it was about comedy. None of these guys, I'm going to say this, and I hope this doesn't, I haven't seen any of them chasing women. There's none of that. It's just dudes talking about comedy.
Right.
I mean, a couple of them might drink a little bit. That's normal, right? But it's just such a healthy environment for a comedian. You know what I mean?
That's
That's what I dig about it, dude. What you're doing.
Yeah, and a lot of the Baltimore guys like come down and like, I distinctly remember like when we did the Barrel House open mic, which is no longer a thing.
Yeah.
But that was a cool mic, and we kind of started there, and then, a lot of the Baltimore guys coming down and like, how did you guys you guys only been doing it 6 months at this point? How are you guys get to this point? It's like, we're helping each other.
Yeah. We got to do it together.
Yeah. We're helping each other. We're putting bits by each other. We're working on tags with each other.
It's so interesting you say that because my background is with local bands in the Baltimore area, and it was the same thing with that. You would see these little scenes within the scene of these guys who would help each other, and all their bands would benefit
explode
from that.
So if you remember, Nick, you may not remember this. The first or second time I came up to you, I actually sent that to you in a message. I was like, I really dig what you guys are doing up there. You have a neat thing. So I'm glad you got to come on, man. So are you still doing the open mic?
Yeah, there's one tonight, actually.
Tonight, right?
Yep, there's one tonight. It starts at 8:30.
If you're anywhere in Hartford County, what is that above you? Cecil County?
Yep,
yeah.
Cecil.
I mean, if you've ever wanted to try it, I'm going to tell you, it's one of the safest, most supportive rooms I've ever seen, like ever. And I'll tell you, I'm respectful when I go there. Like I can go up and do 30 minutes like it's nothing. They say 5-7 minutes. I do my 5-7. I get the fuck off because they're doing it right.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Sure.
And it's Steve Huber's at the Barrel House had that kind of vibe.
Yep.
It was different people, but like I could see these young comics just starting out supporting each other. So Nick, I'm a fan.
Yeah, and actually tonight is going to be hosted by Brandon. So if you want to see the lunatic,
Holy shit!
Nice.
if you want to see the lunatic in person, he will be there hosting it tonight.
Imagine Robin Williams if he had a bigger drug problem in 1984.
Wow.
His mind just goes, and it's just like, and then he
and
has,
Brandon's been sober for 3 years.
That's the other thing I'm getting ready to say. This dude doesn't drink. He doesn't do drugs.
Yeah.
I really like the guy. I mean, I do. I enjoy his company.
Dude, yeah.
And when you can get him to calm down a little bit, he's fun to talk to.
Sure.
You know what I mean? I dig the guy, man. Nick, we do a little segment here called That's the Facts, Matt. And that's our news segment. Feel free. Jump in. You're part of the show. That's the Facts, Matt, brought to us by Barnes Paving, BARNES paving.com. Please give them a call. Get 10% off when you watch Mickey Talks. Now here he is, the man with the plan and the news. That's the Facts, Matt. What do we got?
And Nick, please chime in at any time. We always encourage our guests to chime in here.
All right, cool.
We've been keeping people up on the Diddy trial because you can't watch it on TV. So I don't know if you've kept up with what's going on so far, but day 23 happened, and the judge is seriously considering the removal of juror number 6. We talked about this a little bit on Friday.
Yeah.
Diddy's defense team threatened to petition for a mistrial if the juror is disqualified. Unclear on how they win that argument. The judge that determines the juror's fate likely today would also rule on the mistrial motion. Prosecutors were complaining that the jury member exhibited a lack of candor with the court. And you mentioned that Kanye had showed up on Friday, right? Well, I'll tell you a little bit about how that went down.
So I was right. It was Kanye, right?
It was Kanye. Yeah. So Ye has voiced his support for Diddy through social media and also put out a song sampling, a song that samples his voice in a call from behind bars.
Say it again.
So he created a song that sampled Diddy's voice from a jail phone call, and
he want to go play it for him before he released it.
I think it was just like a show of support for Diddy.
Oh, Ye's not asking anybody for permission to release his whole last album was like half of the beats were stolen, and he was like, people came out and said, he was like, I taught y'all motherfuckers how to make these beats, so they're mine.
Y'all took my shit. I'm taking it back. But no, I mean, Nick, let me ask you. Like this whole Diddy trial, I've gotten to the point where I don't know about you. I said, I've seen enough. Take him out back and shoot him. Like I'm at that point.
This is going to be a really rough take.
This
is going to be a rough take. All right, here we go.
Okay.
I always think everything is so fake and so manufactured.
I'm with you.
And so like, I think Diddy was the urban Epstein. I think
Diddy.
I'm with
that's
you.
So funny. We had this conversation.
We had the exact conversation.
I mean, he was the urban Epstein. But something happened. He didn't want to follow the rules of the whoever.
The cabal,
Illuminati, whatever.
And they set his ass up.
And listen, they used to get his public image down. They used a 10-year-old tape of him beating up Cassie.
Yeah.
So they've had it.
Yeah.
The tape's old. It's 10 years old.
Right.
So they used a 10-year-old tape. He came out and apologized. It's still not enough. He did something, and they're running him through the.
Well, I think he tried to blackmail the wrong people. When I take it deeper, I think when he had access to all those sex tapes, all that shit that could put people, I think there are some people that don't play that shit. Oh, you're going to take me out? You set me up? Bye, motherfucker. Bye.
I'm not saying he's not a sexual deviant or a freak, because I think at some point when you get that powerful and you've had every woman, every situation,
you got to find something to turn you on.
But some of the things, I don't know if we could talk about them here, but some of the things that I've read that supposedly happened in those Diddy parties they're insane.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm like, how much is true, how much is not?
We've talked about a lot of it, like making everybody having sex with everybody. Nobody cared whose partner was who.
Yeah.
All that shit, I'm gonna be honest. I was honest with Matt. I'll be honest with you too, Nick. I don't care about the sex stuff if everybody's in on it.
Yeah.
You know
you're
what I mean?
Adult, you're a consenting
This is the way
adult.
I say 3 couples hanging out, drinking, and all of a sudden all 6 of you are fucking, but everybody's happy and you're switching partners and you wake up, you have breakfast and go about your day. Who gives a shit?
Yeah.
But when somebody's made to do it and they don't want to, that's where the crime happens.
And that's where they're really trying to get him, is on the sex trafficking and racketeering. And man, first Adolf Hitler and then Diddy. I'm starting to think that Kanye just doesn't have very good judge of character here, you guys. I don't know about you. But
You said with 2 comics, you came up with the best joke. That was a Norm joke. Hey, maybe this guy's got bad choice in friends. You know what I mean?
So the timing is funny. His appearance comes just days after the testimony we talked about this of one of Diddy's alleged victims took a trip on an unnamed hip-hop icon's plane to Vegas, where she watched a freaky hotel room celebration for his wife or girlfriend's birthday. Well, given these details, some are convinced that the icon in question is Kanye, especially considering that he was in Vegas for Bianca's birthday at the time. That's his wife or girlfriend or whatever.
Yeah,
she is.
what's her name? Bianca Sensori or something? Like,
yeah.
Did she recently file for divorce?
I think you're right.
I think she's getting away from his crazy ass. You know what I mean? It's one thing you take on the Jews, right? But then when you take on the Jews and the rest of the world, you're kind of, even your own mate goes, I think I got to get off the bus.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's driving right to crazy town.
Yep.
I think anyway.
Tell me what you think of this. Salt Lake City is looking at using AI to answer 911 calls. So they've got a busy call center, and they want to try computers to help with its call overload. The idea is to buy AI software that could pick up to 30% of the nearly 450,000 non-emergency calls it gets each year. Human dispatchers would still field every life or death call, but AI could handle simple reports. They could translate into 36 languages on the spot and pass trickier cases on to the actual people.
So, like, you could call AI, and be like, "Look, this dude keeps fucking with me, whatever." And it'll go, "All right, you want me to send somebody?" Like, is that what you're saying?
Essentially, yeah. I mean, so what it's saying here is that if the calls sound too frantic, supposedly AI will pass this along to a human to handle the more difficult and real emergency calls.
AI handles, hey, my dad fell, he's not breathing. All right, ambulance on the way, right? Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, but you've been on the phone with those like helplines or the companies where it's like, I need a little bit more information before I pass your call along. And you're like, there's a guy with a gun right now trying to blow my up. I'm sorry. I didn't get that last part.
You said you needed gum? No, it's a gun. I had a complete meltdown one time, Nick. How old are your kids, Nick?
I have a 7-year-old and almost 2.
Almost, are boy and a girl? Or
2 boys.
2 boys, like me. But I have a daughter as well. But my 2 boys, we were in the car one time, and I was talking to my phone. I'm like, okay, Google, where is my phone? It just turned on. I got to turn it off. Sorry. Once I say that, it's like saying the Siri thing.
Yeah.
So I said that, and I go, where is blah, blah, blah? And it brought up something else, and it started talking. It wouldn't stop. I'm like, shut up, Google. And it wouldn't stop. And I'm like, Google, stop. And I'm like, hey, shut the fuck up. My boy, now they were teenagers, right? So I wasn't doing it when they were kids. Lost it. We still do it to each other. Like, have you ever snapped on AI or anything yet?
I mean, I called the bank the other day to try to figure out some charge on my account, and I got one of those automated things, and I'm just pressing 0 to try to get an operator and like freaking out. So if I called 911 in an emergency and they're like a robot's talking to me, I think I would just end it there.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And it's so funny when you hear people like yelling at robots on the phone, man. It's so funny because they would never talk to a human like that.
Well, but a human would never repeatedly say the dumb shit over. I think a human's smart enough to go, they misunderstood me.
Yeah.
AI goes, they try to help you. Are you trying to say grape? No, I said, never mind. Anyway, you know what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So AI makes me, some of it I love.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I don't even want to, you know what I became a fan of now? I hated it in the beginning. Doing them self-ordering things in the stores. You pick your Big Mac, a fry, and the thing.
You like those?
Yeah, because then you just go sit down and somebody brings it to you. You don't have to deal with anybody behind the counter.
I'm so lazy, man. I hate flipping through the menus.
It's simple once you figure it out. They do break it all down for you.
These AI videos are getting crazy,
dude.
Though. So if that's the thing, like people are getting tricked by them, especially older people.
Of course.
And it's like if they had that, if we have it now.
Yeah.
The government's had it for 15, 20 years.
Maybe more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like how much of the stuff that we actually see or have seen is even
we got to get him on the legit. Rambo show with us.
Dude, so listen,
Yeah, the Ram. I want to meet that guy.
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
I did. I want to meet that guy.
It's wild, isn't it?
Yeah, he's an insane.
Yeah.
I love him.
Yeah,
I
I do too, man. But I'll tell you something interesting about what you're saying. The internet. Do you know when that was first used? What we know as the internet.
It was the government at first.
Do you know when they first started using it?
1960s, I think, late 60s.
We saw it in 92.
Yeah.
30 years.
Well, I had a Commodore computer in the 80s that hooked up to my TV and had a tape recorder as the disk drive. You save stuff on.
Yeah.
And I remember them trying to sell me a phone modem where you could put your phone in, and there were no real websites as we know them today, but you could connect to different government agencies and other people who had their computers online.
And you could get on AOL's Instant Messenger.
Well, nobody. AOL wasn't even around.
I know,
back then,
Netscape and that shit. Yeah. I don't know, man. I think that right now on planet Earth, there are spaceships that we built that could go to another world. I believe it. I mean, we might not have the exact details yet, but I think we know we're getting there, right? I think Musk is building Mars.
We're already in space
as a docking station. I think Mars is a docking station.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Where
we can literally put out sort of bases around us. So if things are coming at us, we know even earlier. I don't buy any of this shit anymore. People talk about woke. I'm woke, motherfucker. I woke up to all this bullshit. I'm taking woke over from me. I'm not saying government conspiracies. I'm just saying enough of the bullshit. We're adults. What can we do?
Yeah.
Can we walk on water? Right? Can we drink salt water finally? Like what? I know you got this shit figured out.
Well, look, I think we really smartened up recently over I'd say the last 10-ish years.
Mm-hmm.
To where people finally went, all right, maybe the media isn't always telling us of the truth, and maybe the government is hiding some stuff from us.
Well, when you let
you're not a conspiracy theorist for thinking that, is what I'm saying.
Here's my theory: when you let the richest people in the world that are creating and innovating run the media, they're going to tell you exactly what they want you to know, so you'll buy their shit. That's why I think all media, all of it. We're all think we're full of shit, but if you really think about it, I would have zero problems with my tax dollars going to honest reporting. If there was a way the government could guarantee that you take young college-educated journalists and teach them integrity and ethics and civics and truth-telling and investigative journalism, that I knew these kids were out there to tell us the truth regardless, and it should be like the Supreme Court. By the way, you shouldn't be able to get fired because you fuck somebody over by telling the truth.
I think the problem is people are all just biased. So the problem is really people. There's going to be some kind of slant no matter what you do, I think. Like who's depending on the person that's talking about the story, they're going to have their own kind of twist and slant to it.
That's fine. But they can't say things like, "Oh, he didn't have a laptop." You can't say that.
Right. Yeah.
You can't say, "Oh, he didn't go into the White House."
Right.
Like you can't.
Like
we
no
don't know.
cover-ups.
We don't know whose cocaine this was in the world's most secure building.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the thing. It's like, you could have somebody that really wants to go out and do the right thing and write a story that's good, but like whoever's paying them has this final say.
That's the sick part.
Well, that's why YouTube is really becoming the new news for a lot of people, and all these other video platforms.
we talked about Rambo. I'm not gonna lie to you. I'm dead serious. If I watched Rambo tell me a news story, and then I watched it on MSNBC, the same story, but they're polar opposite views, all my life, I'm gonna believe a guy like Rambo before I believe that. And I don't care if it's Fox, MSNBC, CNN. Any of them ones that are selling beer and pillows and necklaces and perfumes and car insurance and all that shit, I am not interested in the truth from you. Well, clearly you don't know what the truth is.
There are a lot of legitimate journalists now who are just doing podcasts, and they're going on YouTube and giving news kind of straight. That's where a lot of people are getting their stories from now.
Well, hopefully some really credible, honest people in the know emerge as the new Walter Cronkites or the new Dan Rathers.
I think they are.
You know, whatever. And I think we all knew, even in the old days, sure, a man can have an opinion, but he doesn't jade the facts to sway yours.
Yeah.
That's the whole key with journalism. Here's what happened. Make up your fucking mind what you think about it. Not here's what happened, and that's awful because you didn't say one thing what's right about it.
Yeah.
Like, I'll pick anything that's hot right now, and I'm not getting into anything. Just give me one subject right now that's like a hot take either way. Anything in the news.
And all right, well, how about the Iran situation?
Okay, I could listen to one guy tell me that Israel will not stop aggression against the Palestinian area, blah, blah, blah. Then I can watch another guy tell me how Iran funds all these satellite militias that have been attacking Israel nonstop. I understand that Israel is so sick of this shit that, yep, some women and children are going to die to get rid of the monster that wants to kill me.
Yeah.
So I can sit there, but what I can't do is listen to somebody do that and then tell me I have to think what they think. I'm going to read the facts. I'm going to go through history, and I'm going to say, here's what happened, here's what happened, here's what happened, here's what happened. And at the end, I'm going to go, yeah, they lost. This guy won. That country won. This thing is right. This thing is wrong. And then at the end, I go, yeah, how you handle it is your business. But that guy's right, and that person's wrong. And then that's it. I've made up my mind. I saw the facts. I made up my mind. Nobody told me what to think. I saw something.
People will always gravitate, though, towards somebody with an opinion. So you're right. There could be those fact news story shows.
Here's what it is, guys.
Facts, but people are always going to gravitate towards a right-leaning person or a left-leaning person and listen to their opinions about what's going on, too, though. That's probably always going to exist.
I am no Sean Hannity fan. I think he's a hack. I think he kisses Donald Trump's ass. I think he attempts to try to be forward and bring you news stories, right? I'll just use him. However, the reason I respect him a little bit is because he's the only guy I've ever seen that presents headlines and news that goes, look, I'm telling you what I think. I'm giving you news and opinion. That's what people are getting fucked up about. When opinion became news, that's when we all started going, oh, that's what I got to think then. In the old days, Walter Cronkite came out and he said, President Kennedy was shot today at 1:03 Dallas time. He didn't say he was shot and I have a feeling it's an inside job with the mob. And that, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
He just said that's what happened. And then we found out 2 days later that Jack Ruby shot the guy that shot him.
We saw it live on TV.
And then ever since then, we've been addicted to television because we saw a guy get shot that shot the president.
Yeah.
And the news has changed since that day. So as far as news goes, I want the government of truth. Can we do that? We had Doge. I think we should have truth, a section called truth.
I think like conversations like this, though, a long form conversation have really like changed the scope of what's going on, because I still am, but I used to be like a big Rogan fan, and it's mainly, it's not Rogan, it's the guests he has on and the way he has the conversations. And my criticism of Rogan now is like, one, I'm tired of hearing the same bear and mountain lion story that I've heard 45 times because I've heard all your episodes. And you just, one person can only be so interesting. Yeah. And then, but he doesn't really push back a lot on these guys. Right. That's my one issue is like, I feel like he kind of, but that's also, he's not putting his opinion out. He's just letting, maybe that's by design. Maybe that is what it is.
I don't know about you, Matt, because you're a great interviewer as well. I'd like to be a little bit of a protagonist or antagonist so that I can really get to know the person I'm talking to. Now, I may push you, Nick, on an opinion just to know. It doesn't change what I think of you. You wouldn't be on my show if I didn't like you. But I can look at you and go, wow, Nick, you think that? I disagree, man, but I respect how you explained it. Right? You know what I'm saying? Did you get the thing I texted you the other day saying, is this too much?
I don't know.
So I was going to write this on. I didn't want to put it under our banner.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I say it in my own voice? It's nothing crazy. It's just something I wanted to post, but I thought of you and I'm like, I don't want to put Matt in a position where he has to defend something I said. So let me, okay, here it was. So I posted a thing real quick where I said, hey, guys, I just checked. Still no king. I guess this dumb thing worked. Right? That's what I said. That was the whole thing. Right? Well, wait, that's not the thing I'm talking about. So then both sides came at me.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course.
But I'm 100% right in this situation.
Everybody thinks they're right, though.
No, but here's the thing.
Yeah.
Did we have a king? Did we have a king?
I don't want to talk about this.
Okay, I will. We don't have a king. We still don't have a king. It was a joke, right? The whole thing was a joke. I was saying, just checked, no king, we're safe. So anyway, after that, I took it down, right? Because people were acting like assholes. So I wrote this. I would like everyone to know that I post things that I find funny, hypocritical, or interesting. I'm not here to tell you what to think. Honestly, I'm not interested in what you think. I respect you enough to have your opinion, even if I disagree. I will not call you a name. I will not disrespect you as an individual. I do not mind honest, true, even hard to swallow points to be made. But I will not attack you for your opinion. However, if at any point you attack me on my opinion, please disregard everything I've just said above. P.S. I will also admit if you honestly and can respectfully change my mind. I find that to be courageous in some ways. If you were willing to have your mind changed, then that's when you were truly open-minded.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah. I mean, people. I'm from that thing too, man. I'm not. I'm not canning friendships over differences.
Yeah, that's why I took it down, and then I'm like, and I didn't even post that. Yeah. I didn't post it.
Right. I'm kind of. I try to tap out. I've been trying to tap out of the whole of everything. Again, because I just feel exhausting. I feel like I'm turning into a schizophrenic. Like everything's fake and manufactured. Yeah. But like this king thing, was it just against like, Trump or
right? Okay, I don't even know. Like,
I'm not really sure what
it was funny to me. That's all. I just thought the whole thing was funny, right? And I gotta say one other thing, Matt. The parade. I just want to thank all the young men and women that are our military, that got lost in that whole parade of our military. It's amazing what they do. I didn't hear anybody really talk about them. So to the men and women that run our military, thank you. That's what I saw.
Of course, we love our veterans. Our veterans.
Yeah, honoring them would be awful.
All right, here's more about AI taking over our lives, okay?
Yep.
Waymo. I don't know if you guys would get into a Waymo. But,
what is that?
Waymo, that's the AI-driven cars.
Waymo. Okay, yeah.
Cars. So Waymo rides cost more than Uber or Lyft, but people are paying it anyway. A central premise of robo-taxis is that high usage and lower labor costs will ultimately make it a cheap transportation option. That's still far from true, though. But now there's some data that gives us an idea by how much. Obi, an app that aggregates real-time pricing and pickup times across multiple ride-hailing services, has just published what it's calling the first in-depth examination of Waymo's pricing strategy. The company found Waymo's self-driving car rides to be consistently more expensive than comparative offerings from Uber and Lyft. It doesn't seem to matter. The company found that 70% of users who had taken a Waymo ride said they preferred a driverless car to a traditional rideshare or taxi. Despite that enthusiasm, though, Obi found that safety is still a big concern for riders. And of those surveyed, 74% safety is their biggest concern about robo-taxis. Nearly 70% of respondents said they think there should be some form of remote human monitoring of the ride, something that's apparently already a common practice.
Yeah.
I've seen videos of I guess a Waymo car just circling a parking lot. Like it got to its destination, but it wouldn't stop. It just kept circling. And the guy's like on phone with customer service. He's like, I got to get out of this thing. Like, it's not letting me out.
It happened in a drive-through at a restaurant too. There was a couple in there and they were blocking the entire drive-through. This car was just kind of kirking out in the middle of the drive-through. Yeah. So I don't know, man.
But they paid more for a car that didn't even have a driver.
They didn't want to deal with people, I guess.
Right.
I don't mind that. I'll get in the back of a taxi.
I wouldn't mind it either. I think it's weird that it costs more because it should be cheaper. There's nobody to pay.
Well, it's just because I guess it's brand new. I mean, it's eventually going to come down.
Yeah, they got to pay the initial cost.
Yeah, but I think that's setting up a bad precedent, right? It's like you call and you want a call girl, right? And then she shows up and she has, no hands or something. And you're like, well, I was kind of, I guess I'll pay for it. Like what?
Or in this instance, she's a robot.
Yeah, which I'm fine with.
Coming soon.
We've talked about this at great length, Nick. I want your opinion. Never have to talk to an actual woman again and get all the pleasure of it. Would you do it?
Man,
Say no more,
That's
Nick.
that's
You're
a
married.
tough one.
I
That's
Say
a
no
tough
more.
one.
I'm in your boat, Nick. I'm anti-robot.
I don't think I'm.
I don't know. Like, there's people. Listen, there's people having full-on relationships with AI,
It's
like
unbelievable.
girlfriends online,
And they're
Yeah,
happy.
Yeah.
like asking
they happy,
advice and
Dude, hear me out. 95% of the time, I think a man just wants a woman to let him talk.
So does a woman. That's what a woman wants too.
Yeah, but she doesn't want you to talk back. That's the problem. Because when you do, that's when the fights start,
Yeah.
right? Like she'll say, I'm really stressed out today. And I go, why? Well, I got to go to the library and I got to the store and pick this up. And I'm looking at, I'm like,
That's the beauty of life, Nick.
what's
It's the beauty of
beautiful
life.
about that?
Yeah, I mean, you got to have that contrast. You know, you're gonna get bored with something
Do
that's
ya?
just agreeing with you all the time.
I would like to give it a shot.
Yeah,
Yeah. I would like to listen.
I think you should. I think it would be
I'm 56.
interesting. It would be interesting to follow you with a camera and a robot for a couple of years.
then you just put the robot on period mode if you want a little, you want a little back talk, Once,
What if-
you know,
what if the period is like some of those women who get even hornier when they're on it?
that's a thing. That
Yeah,
happens.
that's
that
it.
happens.
Trust me, I know.
That happens. It's like that's God's just being,
Punishment.
Yeah, he's
You
just
want
being a
this?
jerk.
Fine.
Yeah.
Earn it.
Earn it.
I just think at some point it's
Work
going to
through it.
malfunction on you, Mick, and it's going to be bad.
Let me
We're
tell
going
you
to find you. You're going to be just scattered
You know
all
what?
over your apartment.
If
in
that's the
pieces.
way I go, I lie before you dead and happy. Trust. I'll tell you something else too about this.
Pelvis shattered.
Yeah, shattered completely, just obliterated. Yeah, but I want I do think that in 10 years, it's not going to be odd for us to start seeing people out in public with their robot. I'm telling you, laugh. You're laughing,
I
man.
am laughing.
No,
It's funny.
I agree. I think you're good. Like people are going to be.
There's going to be robot bars.
There's
I mean,
going to be
George
people
Jetson.
taking their robot to dinner,
That's what I
You
just
know?
meant.
to
You're
a
gonna-
family function.
without
Here's
a
my
doubt.
robot.
Yeah, here's AR 1461. Hi, AR 14. Hello, how are you?
Hello, Mickey.
Yeah, hello.
They're going to really completely take over the whole like Russian bride, mail order bride.
Dude,
thing.
exactly.
You're going to pay 10 grand for a robot, or you're going to pay 10 grand for this
Woman that's going to come and
over?
leave you in 5 years when she realizes who you really are.
Wow, it's going to be a sad, sad existence, man.
Speak for
People
yourself,
are
Matt.
Just
You're happily married. You got a
It's
great
gonna-
woman.
it's going to be the end of us reproducing and new people coming into the world.
Hey, I made 3. I did my job. Can I check out now?
Maybe it'll
How many I got to make?
maybe it'll counterbalance some of this, craziness we got going on now.
I agree
Listen,
with you.
I'm all for it. People are happy. That's all that matters, really. I just don't. I don't know. I don't think people are going to find ultimate happiness with a machine, though.
Tell me a man that's found ultimate happiness with a woman, or tell me a woman that's found ultimate happiness with a man.
I'm not saying everybody's completely happy and satisfied
Right.
with humans, but I think there is something in a human connection that they're not going to find in a robot connection. Is what I'm saying.
I can agree with that.
Okay, can you two agree with this?
Yeah.
I do think there will be relationships where, as couples get older, in their 60s, 70s, men still have a sex drive. And at that age, a lot of women do not. It's biological. It's nothing. It's natural. But if they're married, they do everything together. They go to dinner, and he wants to get laid. He goes in the guest room, knocks one out with the robot. Is that a bad thing? There's no.
I don't care. I really don't care.
No, I'm saying, would you think that would be an acceptable situation for a couple?
I don't think any of it's unacceptable. Honestly, I'm just saying I don't know that people are going to find the satisfaction that you think they are, though.
Well, if the satisfaction is just strictly sexual, right?
Yeah.
I think what Mickey's saying is like, okay, you love your wife.
Yeah.
She doesn't want to have sex anymore.
But I
so
do.
you have a robot that takes care of that. Is that a better move than having
An affair?
An
A
affair,
divorce or an affair. Yeah,
Correct.
of course. Yeah.
or
So
getting a
it's-
prostitute, or,
Yeah.
I think I don't know. I think there's a spot for robots in the future.
I agree with that.
I think
I'll
there's a
agree with
place.
that, Nick.
I'm not. I'm telling you, I'm not going to discount the AI vagina yet.
Well, they're getting us ready too. Like,
Of course they are.
Netflix has like 2 different movies.
Yeah.
One's like called Megan,
Yeah.
I think, and
Yeah.
then the other one's another movie that is just about the
Oh wow.
the AI.
There's already dudes like in relationships with robots. Is that what
Dude.
that is?
Well, there's movies about it, and then there's there's people with relationships with robots. Yes,
Yeah.
I mean there's people with relationships with sex dolls that aren't robotic that they can
Yeah.
just carry around.
There are also relationships where people just let each other have sex with other people,
Yeah.
and they're actually happy.
the polyamorous thing's big now.
It's huge. Go
Real
bang
big.
who you want. I'm gonna bang who I want, and if we want to bang each other, we will. Like I couldn't handle that.
I don't think I can handle that either.
But I can handle a lot of stuff. Like if it's mutual and happy and everybody's cool, who cares?
Yeah.
You get one shot at life, right? They gave us 31 flavors of ice cream, but we only get to experience one sexual partner. I want some robot because I can change her name every day. I bet if they come with the good ones, you'll be able to change their hair color, accents. I'm gonna be a player by the end of the day.
Did you guys catch the movie? It came out years ago, probably about 5 or 6 years ago, maybe even more. Ex Machina, about this whole thing.
I never saw that, but I remember
It's worth
seeing
the
the name.
watch.
Really?
It's worth the watch.
I
What
thought
is
it was
that?
pronounced Ex Machina, but
it might
I don't
be.
know. Yeah.
But it's basically a guy creates these robots that do everything, and they're
This is fiction, you're saying?
correct.
Yeah.
I mean, they're hot robots, and like
Yeah.
you could change their faces, change everything,
man.
blah blah blah. And he brings this computer tester guy into his big complex to do tests on the machine. I guess there's a certain test to do to see if something's sentient or not. Or blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So he's doing these tests, and he starts falling for this robot. But like, there's some twists and turns. I highly recommend the movie.
There's
Yeah.
already people falling for AI too. Like there
Oh,
was,
yeah.
there was a
Of
guy that was
course.
in love with
Yes.
having a conversation with his computer. There's people that think that AI is God. They think they're talking to God. We just read a story about that the other day too. So,
Neat story I just read the other day on AI. Did you know this? I didn't know this. How crazy this shit is. Say you get in an argument with somebody through text. You can take that whole thread, put it into AI. It will literally break down gaslighting, lies. It picks it all up for you. Like, that's a lie because of this text earlier.
But do you know what's
that's wrong.
crazy about that? They're already seeing that AI will lie and kind of fudge its answers for certain things too.
Yeah.
So it's going to get complicated, man. It's going to get
It's
crazy.
all in the programming too. Like,
Bingo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
These have you guys seen these?
But it
Bigfoot-
learns too. But you know,
Yeah. Have you
Yeah.
seen these like Bigfoot videos that are coming out? It's like, or like the Bible videos.
Yeah.
It's like the original Bible stories, but they're vlogging them and stuff.
Dude.
They're insane.
Oh,
Yeah.
I did see that.
They're
Yeah,
insane.
yeah,
But like some prompts, you can't put in there. Like you can't put like black guy standing up in the crowd because then it'll make the entire section of that crowd black or white or like
Won't
it does
separate
some
and-
weird
yeah,
stuff with
yeah.
like race because it doesn't want to hit certain
Alienate, it
points.
doesn't-
Yeah,
it's-
like there's some weird stuff. But
You know what's really crazy? You know the AI we're getting? Imagine what we're not.
Yeah, it's 15 years old.
Well, they're saying that right now, AI is about as smart as the smartest human being on Earth. But they're saying in the next decade,
It will be times
it's going to be
100x.
like it's going to be like 100 times smarter than the smartest person on
It
Earth.
literally
which is
will tell
crazy.
us not to do things because of.
Yeah,
It will
yeah.
tell us things that are going to happen. It's wild, man. It's really wild. What else we got, buddy?
So, did you guys know that Alaska is under a heat advisory right now? This is, they're experiencing something this week that they've never, ever seen before.
Daylight.
The first time ever, the National Weather Service has issued a heat advisory for parts of Alaska, which could see temperatures reach the high 80s this week.
Yeah.
Fairbanks is expected to see highs in the 80s all week. The town of Fort Yukon could reach as high as 90 on Thursday.
Damn.
But while residents may welcome the unusually warm weather, they're urged to be careful because the high temperatures could cause dangerous flooding from ice melt as well as wildfires as well.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah,
Those
that's
people don't
nuts.
even own shorts or air conditioning, I'm sure. You know?
No, but I mean, the good news is if you're going to have your temperature drastically change one way, it's better that it's that way instead of dropping to a temperature you're not prepared for.
Negative 20.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Your pipes freeze up and you live in Hawaii. What do you do?
They already experience, 50 below during their winters.
But
you know?
they have adapted to that.
Yeah.
So now how do you adapt to 80 degrees?
Right.
Well, you simply take your shirt off. That's all
Yeah.
you're going to have to do,
Go
Lenny.
lay in the ice on the top of the mountain.
Go melt. Yeah, welcome to Maryland. Enjoy that for 3 weeks. Then it'll be 12 degrees. Then it'll snow. Then it'll be 91. And then it'll be rainy and 45, all in the same week.
So they figured out that Americans curse more online than any other nation.
Of course we do. We're a country of rebels.
Yeah, it's not a shocker. Americans use more profanity online than any other country. According to a recent study published in the Journal of Lingua, the U.S. leads in swearing, followed by Great Britain and then Australia.
The white people are the worst.
I thought Australia was going to be up there.
You did or didn't?
I thought they were going to be like maybe first.
See, I would have guessed that Britain.
I would have put Britain as number one.
Yeah,
I would have.
I would have thought that too.
I watch a ton, and I mean a ton.
I mean, even on their media, on TV.
That's what I'm talking about. Yeah. I mean, I watch a ton of like English sports podcasts because of the soccer nut I am. It's nonstop. They use the C word like it's nothing.
I know they do. Do the broadcasters do that too?
Not on broadcast, but like when they have podcasts, like the big guys, like that, like I'll say names. They're like Cal Ripken, Michael Jordan, but guys like Gary Lineker and Alan Shearer. I mean, these guys were the greatest of their time. Yeah, they cuss. They'll say that's bullshit. Fuck that guy. Like stuff like that.
Yep.
But when they get the guests on telling stories, they're hilarious and they cuss like sailors. And they say the F word a lot. They say the C word.
The C word means something completely different.
It just
though.
means
it's like a different, like
it's like you're a dick.
That guy.
That guy.
Jerk.
Yeah, you're just an idiot.
This guy.
Yeah.
But like it's so wild the contrast of that.
Hearing
word
it as an American, you're like, whoa.
Yeah.
Over there, it's like almost a term of endearment.
Yeah.
Here, it's a term of divorce. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
If you want your marriage to end quick, end it with that sentence.
Now, see, maybe we're right. Maybe our population size has something to do with it. Are they just seeing more profanity in the U.S. because we have 300 million people that live here and Britain and Australia don't?
I'm sure they break it down per capita.
Yeah, it's got to be per capita or on average. I mean, I don't know. I know that Americans are very, very quick-witted and fire tongues, man. We're known for it around the world.
Yeah, they said researchers analyzed 1.7 billion words from 20 English-speaking nations and employed computer programs to identify variations of vulgar language across websites and blog posts.
Bernie Mac alone could have beat some countries combined.
Yeah, that's another thing too, is like how much of that is real people too.
Yeah.
Because like I've stopped arguing with people online because you don't even know if these are real people.
Today I got a text. I got to find it. One of my messengers. It said, "Hi, Mickey. How you been? I think you're hilarious." Right? Then it said, "I'm writing you because a friend of mine has a huge crush on you, but is afraid to reach out." Right?
This is on Facebook?
One of them, Instagram. It just can't, you know, how you get messages all day. I just hit it and it opened and it said, so I responded and I simply said, where did they see me perform? Haven't heard a word. And so all you got to do is ask them simple questions.
I get that exact thing.
Isn't it hilarious?
Once a month.
It's hilarious.
My friend thinks you're really cute. Blah, blah, blah. We checked out. She was looking at your account. Well, if you were looking at my account, you'd see that I have a wife and kids.
Children.
And I'm happy. So why are you, and it's always a robot of some sort or AR or some phishing scam.
I was going to say, so what do you think the scam is? Are they trying to get money out of you?
They get you close. They get you close. And then it'll be like, she also does OnlyFans. Here's her page.
Oh.
Then they send you a link and you join. I mean, after the 12th time, you start saying, I don't think this girl.
I don't think she really likes me.
I don't think this girl's for me. I think she got a different friend or something.
They got one of my accounts. I still haven't been able to get it back. The original Slippery Stallions podcast account. I had a buddy who had his account hacked. He's a chef.
Yeah.
He reached out and DM'd me from this account that he lost already. And he said, "Hey, I'm doing a food competition. Can you vote for me?" Sure. Boom, clicked it, hit the vote.
Oh, no.
Oh, did you vote? I didn't see it. Can you send me a screenshot? Once you send the screenshot,
you're
then
done.
They have like some sort of meta info.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
They stole my account and, I had to restart and all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It's a lot of evil shit out there, man.
There is.
What else we got, buddy?
Well, if you see a dryer sheet in your mailbox, your mail carrier wants to leave it there, they say. Don't toss it. It's not garbage. It's wasp warfare. Postal workers are saying that they want their customers to know that they're stashing scented sheets inside mailboxes to fend off angry yellow jackets that love dark, cozy spaces. Turns out wasps can't stand the smell, so it's a simple and fragrant way to avoid summer stings. So if you see that there, they say leave it in there to do its thing.
Wow, look at that.
That's
Now we
pretty
know
cool.
something. Now I'm
Never heard
glad
of
I
that.
know that.
Yeah.
All right.
I never knew that.
No, I haven't seen it either. So
Yeah.
maybe it's just certain areas. Experts are saying that the Southern accent is fading. New research from the University of Georgia shows that the Southern accent is going away. The erosion of the accent began in the latter half of the 20th century when Americans started moving across the country in droves. And they're saying that as more people move south and continue to do so, the soft R's and elongated vowels are fading away with each new generation. The draw peaked with boomers. It dropped off a little bit with Gen X. The result is that Americans everywhere, especially younger ones, will increasingly sound the same without, I guess, a neutral accent.
I don't know if I can.
Yeah,
I don't know if I can get on board with
Nick.
that.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I really don't. I mean, language is always shifting, and there's slight changes and ebbs and flows. But have you been to Baltimore lately?
Yeah,
I don't think anybody's stopping talking like,
we're still good as we get.
Oh yeah,
You look at a country like England, been around for 1,000 years. They still sound the same.
It's true.
You know what I mean? Do you like the Southern accent of American Southern accent?
Yeah, sure.
I like it. I do. I honestly do.
I think if a lady has a nice Southern accent,
I love it.
Now, if it's like too
proper Southern,
I think I prefer the proper Southern more than like the super hillbilly Southern.
oh, that's different.
But like a nice South Carolina
love
accent.
it.
Y'all want to come down here and eat some roadkill on my porch?
But I agree with Nick. I think, Matt, like I when a lady has a Southern accent, it's I find it endearing. And even a guy, like I'm always impressed when I hear a very smart, like distinguished politician or somebody, and they have a Southern accent. It really does. It presents the facts different.
It's kind of endearing.
It really is.
Yeah.
Well, it's because they've always been portrayed
as dumb.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, here's the thing. Would you rather have a lady with a nice Southern accent or a Boston accent?
Oh my God.
A thick Boston accent or a nice...
No way. I'd rather have a dude with a Southern accent than a lady with a Boston accent. Did you ever see Ted? That scene in Ted?
Oh, yeah.
You ever hear a Boston woman have an orgasm? It's the worst thing you ever heard in your life. Oh, harder. That feels awesome. Like, oh my God.
That's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome. I can't do it that good. But no, I'm with you, Nick. There's no way I'm taking the Boston orgasm over the Southern voice. Yeah. No way.
So there's a woman who's been catching some heat online because she named her baby Chernobyl.
That's a cool name.
Was it a boy or girl?
Good question.
If it's a girl, it's a good name because nobody's allowed in there.
Yeah, Reddit post of a baby shower invite lit up the internet after it showed parents planning to name their unborn girl Chernobyl Hope. Many commentators said that the name felt like a punch in the face, pointing out that Chernobyl was the site of the world's worst nuclear disaster in 1986, which killed and sickened thousands. One survivor even shared how painful the choice felt. Others guessed that the couple simply liked how the word sounded and had never learned their tragic history. While the U.S. naming laws are loose, critics urge friends and family to speak up before the birth certificate becomes final. The uproar sparked a wider talk about parents' duty to check the meaning behind unique names and about how online crowds now step in when choices seem hurtful.
I mean, I don't think parents all the time think of their kids when they name them because they think it makes them look cool to parents.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Like I named my son Carlin, right? And I struggled with it because I was like, is he going to be able to carry that? You know what I mean? And why did your dad name you Carlin? Then it's all about me. But I think that's knowing him now. His mother and I could not have made a better choice for his name. Like, it's great. It fits him great. Yeah. You know what I mean? But I do think sometimes you see parents think, this is my kid. What's that mom? And you go, okay. Like, I don't even know how to spell that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whatever they say. So that's where you're naming kid. Did you just let your wife or what'd you do?
So Oliver was kind of the first one's Oliver,
name, by the way.
And it's kind of when he was born in 2018, it wasn't as popular, and by 2020, it was like one of the most popular names of 2020.
It's a comeback name too.
Yeah,
it's usually a popular name.
Yeah.
You know what I hope doesn't come back? Mortimer. I hope nobody gets named Mortimer. Yeah, that'd be a tough one. Go ahead.
And
buddy.
then my youngest is Sebastian.
I love that name.
That was my my current girl's thing. So Sebastian, we call him Bash as for short.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It really fits him because he's
that's
he's
cool.
just a crazy little dude, you know. He's jabbering around. He's kind of like he's talking, but not fully yet.
And he's 2.
He's 2.
Yeah.
He's starting to say sentences and copying his brother. He can say a couple words, and like today he's running around and he yells at the Alexa.
Oh, right.
Alexa. And then says some stuff and it starts playing Lady Gaga.
That's hilarious.
This is awesome.
We got to do this once a show, Mick.
What's that?
Hey, Alexa, play Mickey Talks. Just for the listeners who are
sitting at home.
Their Alexa device.
Yeah. Because it does that now. You can just say that.
Yeah.
Alexa, play Mickey Talks.
And it'll just pop.
It'll just pop on in people's houses if they're home.
I wanted to ask you, you're really into like soccer and stuff.
Yeah.
Right? So
ridiculously.
have you checked out the show Ted Lasso?
Are you kidding me?
It's so good.
It's
right?
incredible.
It's such a good show.
Matt, you would love it.
You know what's funny? My wife has been bugging me to watch that with her for the longest time. She loves it. She thinks it's genius.
Dude,
I haven't watched it with her yet.
Here's the thing. As a soccer guy, I love it because of the subject matter.
Yeah.
Soccer has very little to do with the show.
Right.
No, you're right.
It's great because that's the stage it's set on. But fucking Jason Sudeikis is just hilarious,
Yeah.
man.
So good.
One of the funny, I'll say this, he to me is one of the greatest comedy actors I've ever seen.
All right, I'm gonna watch it because
Dude, I'm telling
didn't the
you.
second season just come out?
I think the 4th is
Oh,
about
the
to
fourth
start.
season.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
Yeah.
it's really. I'm about halfway through it. I'm like at the end of the second season.
Dude,
right
it's
now,
so
but
great.
It's really.
And
good.
how hot is the blonde owner?
She's not my type.
She's not my type
not
either,
my type.
but she is sexy as hell,
But
man.
she's a wild lady. I like her vibe.
Yeah. I mean, she's like 6 foot tall.
I thought it was funny they had what's his name, Jason
Sudeikis?
Yeah. They had him on a picture for the Orioles and said the only thing that could save us, and he had O's
That's
jersey
awesome.
on.
You'll love the show.
Yeah.
Anybody out there that just likes funny stuff, if you like British humor, there's a little of that in it. A lot of soccer stuff that goes, you don't need to know it though. That's the thing.
Yeah.
That's what's so great about the show is it teaches you about soccer. He's the head of a first division soccer coach in England, right? Basically, like it would be in charge of Chelsea or Manchester, that level of team. He was a college American football coach the year before. The owner hired him to try to tank the team so he could sell it or he was leaving it to his wife and he wanted it to be worthless.
And he ends up making them great, right?
He ends up, it's hilarious. There's press meetings with the press are the funniest things.
Oh yeah, they're great.
Oh my God. It's a great show.
So scientists have finally settled over the over-under toilet paper debate once and for all by using science. Toilet paper rolls were invented more than 150 years ago, and as long as they've been around, the question of the right way to put it on the holder has always been a source of disagreements all over the world.
I do a whole comedy bit about this.
Do you?
The front or hanging down from the back.
Yep.
Right? Go ahead. What's the right answer?
Some people argue the over position where the next square of toilet paper is facing the user.
That's women.
Others team under, where the next square is facing the wall. And it now seems the scientist has finally settled on the debate. What are you? Your team?
I'm team.
Over?
I don't give a shit. It's a foot from me, and it's
too.
going to wipe my ass clean.
Right.
The presentation is irrelevant, but just because it pisses most people off, I like it when it's in the back and hanging down behind it, and I can just pull it straight.
So you like the
second
party in the back?
Yes.
Business in the front.
Yes.
Look, right?
Yes.
Okay. How about you?
I'm a bidet guy.
Okay.
You got a bidet?
I've got two different kinds. I've got the My Tushy, and then my other bidet is essentially just a hose connected to the water line that I could just like power wash my shit off. So I just have like an asshole power washer. And then, the toilet paper is
Keep talking, Nick. You had me at a low.
The toilet paper is just there to dab the dampness. There's no wiping that needs to happen.
Nick is now my new plumber.
I'm telling you, this bidet thing, it's changed my life.
I've never used one.
Changed my life. I've been on it for like a year. I will swear by it.
You know
Matt,
what,
have you ever used one?
No, and I don't like the idea of it. I don't know why.
I don't either,
know why.
but the way he just described, like if I could take the hose and just do that.
There's another friend of mine who talks just like you and swears by it.
So good.
And I don't know why. I'm just kind of like, I don't know why I'm turned off by it.
I think it's because when we were young, like a bidet was like made fun of and for sissy men and the French. Yes, we were raised in a culture that looked at that like, what a sissy. Just wipe your ass off like a man and get on with your day. And at the rest of it,
yourself a leaf.
Yeah, when you get home at night, you clean off what's been riding with you all day.
Here's let me give you a little something that was parted onto me. If you get shit on your hand, right?
Yeah.
Are you going to take a cloth and wipe your hand off and keep it moving?
No,
or are you going to wash your hands?
I'm diving in the Atlantic Ocean and getting rid of that.
So, why are you smearing it on your ass?
I'm with Nick. I'm team clean your ass now.
All right. Well, next time you got to go, Nick.
I'm telling you, Amazon, you get one of these little power sprayer things. It's like $35.
Really?
Hook it up to your water tank.
So you don't even need a plumber to come over.
No, I did it myself.
Fuck that.
And then they have the My Tushy ones that you don't even touch anything. You hit the button and they spray all kinds of different ways.
Huh.
That's okay. But I like the little more control.
Yeah, I'm with Nick. I'm going to tonight. I'm going to Home Depot. See if Ryobi makes one.
Yeah, they have one. They have one at Home Depot. I know it's a little more than Amazon, but they have the same one.
All right. So here we go.
Wait a minute. I just always wanted to walk into Home Depot. Now I can do it. Yeah, can I help you? Yeah, I'm working on this project at home. What is it? I got to get my asshole spotless. You got anything that can help me out, man? I'm in, Matt.
Well, report back to us tomorrow.
You
Nick.
got it, buddy.
So the guy who did this study, Dr. Primrose Freestone, he's a professor of clinical microbiology. He's declared that the under method is actually safer and more effective. And if you ask why, she explains that the over orientation requires a second hand to touch the roll, which means more risk of contamination before we wipe and more potential risk of infection.
That makes sense.
And there's more handling of toilet roll from the over position.
I've said this, Matt, I don't know how many times a man in his life gets to stop what he's doing and just remember that he was right 1,000 times when he was told he was wrong.
Yeah.
This is one of those moments.
Yeah.
I want to call 3 women right now and just say this. I was right. Click. You have no idea.
Just send him the link to that study.
Yeah, I need that link, Matt. And I'm going to post it on Facebook with this message. You know who the fuck you are. And that's it. That's all I'm like.
You know what? That's the way it was in my house. Well, I was like you, Mick. I didn't care. I'm like, it's a toilet paper roll.
Yeah.
I can rip it. It doesn't matter which way it's hanging. I can rip it off either way.
Yeah.
But I think I always used to put it like you with the strip coming down the back.
Yeah, just it hangs back there.
Yeah. But my wife wanted it hanging.
They all do.
Forward,
I don't know
said,
what's wrong with them.
Whatever.
That's one of those things about being a woman. I look at and I just go, okay, I'm not gonna fight you on it, but you're wrong. You're wrong. And we got to accept it. If you were a roommate and a man, we'd be fighting in the living room right now. But I'm not allowed. So you're right. There you go. You happy?
So some woman Karen'd out on a 14-year-old boy in a psycho way. A peaceful bike ride in Florida turned into a ride of terror for a 14-year-old boy after a woman drove her car onto the bike path and chased him because she wanted to talk to his parents about how fast he was going. Gage Ellis was riding his e-bike on a multi-use path when headlights from an SUV suddenly appeared behind him. Cops say 65-year-old Julia Kathloff drove her vehicle off the road and onto the trail because she was, for some reason, upset that the boy was riding too fast. There was a good Samaritan who intervened and cut off the woman, which allowed the boy to ride off. But when his parents found out about the wild chase the next day, they called the cops. The boy captured some of the chase on video and turned it over to the police. A few days later, they caught up with this Karen and placed her under arrest for aggravated assault with a deadly weapon. She told deputies she just wanted to talk to his parents.
Yeah. I don't know how you feel about what I'm going to tell you, Matt, but it's similar. Nick, you too. Tell me if I'm... Well, let me ask you this first. Say you're somewhere. It's none of your business. There's a kid. They're riding a skateboard or something.
Yeah.
And then some Karen comes over and starts screaming at them.
Oh.
And you can tell the kids are like, they're scared, but they're also like, lady, we're only riding a skateboard, right? I saw it one time up in Bel Air. And I listened to this woman for like 3 minutes because I thought, all right, She's an adult. She's telling them, but then she starts laying into these kids about their parents. If you had good parents, you wouldn't do this. If your mother wasn't, doing this, you'd know. And I listened about a minute, and then tell me if I'm wrong. I walked over and I said, ma'am, you made your point with these kids. Stop. She goes, mind your own business. I said, let me tell you what is my business, you fat pig. And I called her a fat pig right to her face, right? She was huge, by the way. I said, who the hell do you think you are? You asked them to stop, and they did. Now, because you are miserable, you hate your own life, and you don't have anything else to do, you're going to sit here and berate innocent children that don't know how to argue with you. I know how to argue with you. Your turn. And she walked away. Am I wrong?
I don't think so. She's telling you to mind your business, and she's not
minding hers.
Minding hers. At
but
that point, she opened herself up.
The fat bitch part. The reason I said that, if you're going to look at a kid and tell him his parents are fucked up because he's riding a skateboard on a parking lot that's empty. It's not like they're getting in and out of cars. These kids were just riding their board. I don't even know what it's called, where they do that thing where they like kick up over the curb and the board flips and
like
they land.
Flips, right?
Yeah,
Is that what
that's
called?
all they were doing. When I say 75 yards away from anything or anyone, and she snaps. I just wanted to hurt that woman's feelings so badly, like she was doing to those children. And every time I tell that story, the people always say, oh, you shouldn't have called her that name. And I'm like, why? Why can't I say what I think? I think that what she did was awful.
Yeah. I think I relate too much to still being a kid. Number one, to even think about yelling at a kid about
I would
having
never
fun or whatever. But
right.
I think if you're a stranger, it would take a lot for me to get involved with a kid, to reprimand a kid. It would have to be like they're either in danger, like they're going to get hit by a car,
hurting my kid,
or they're hurting your kid,
right?
Bullying your kid or something like that.
I'm all for that.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that when I really snapped is when she told the kid. It was almost like she knew the kid, but she didn't. She said, I bet your mom has a different guy every month.
Oh.
Over your house.
To a kid?
Yeah, because he was like, my father doesn't live with me. Because that's what she said. Would your father? He goes, my father doesn't live with us. And then she goes, right, I bet your mother has a different man there every month trying to be your dad. Wow. And that's when I went, hey, you fat bitch. And then her eyes got big and she waddled off, probably went to Burger King or some kind of closed Taco Bell drive-through.
Unfortunately,
to eat herself into happiness.
That's the way a lot of people were talked to when they were kids. So that's, they're channeling all that.
Yeah, I find it, I cannot take that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Just straight bullying. Like, I'll take an ass whooping if a bully can, but if I see a bully, I say stuff. And if I get my ass whooped in the meantime, I got my ass whooped for standing up for what I thought was right.
Yeah.
And I've had my ass whooped plenty of times in my life growing up the way I did. I can take an ass whooping. And I can wake up the next day and go, well, I got my ass whooped, but I tried. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just how I look at it. Some people think I'm crazy.
I think for
a lot
this
of people
specific
think I'm crazy.
situation with the lady driving her car at a kid, I think that should be just like a DUI where like your license is gone for a year.
What are you doing?
Your license is gone for a year and you don't get it back until you have a psychological evaluation.
Yeah.
Because that's insane.
That's next level nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you went off-road onto a bike trail.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Have you guys seen the video of the woman? I think it might be Florida as well, where the kid's fishing at a pond, right? It's like a community. And this kid's fishing. He's a young black kid and he's fishing. And this not old, but like in their 60s, comes up and the woman goes, you're not allowed to fish here. And he goes, literally says, I'm sorry, I didn't know that. She goes, well, you can't. You don't even live here. He goes, I live one street over. What's your name? And he goes, I'm not comfortable telling you my name. She berates this kid. He leaves crying. Then the video comes back on 10 minutes later, and that kid's mother's there. Holy shit. This mom's about 34, smoking hot and ripped. And she lays into this old woman about her son. And I was just like, I almost masturbated to it. It was that great. You know what I mean? Just to watch somebody get that kind of justice for being just a complete asshole.
Yeah.
I never understood that either. Like the pond, and you can't fish it.
Yeah, I mean, who cares? Especially a lot of these bass fishermen, these guys that nobody's eating bass.
Nobody.
You know what I mean? They're just catching and releasing. They just want to fish for fun.
Well, they left their bag here last time. Okay, one guy left a bag in 1989. Now nobody's allowed to fish your pond again at your townhouse development.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That drives me nuts.
All right, that is the facts, Matt.
Weird way to end it, wasn't it? All right, thanks, Matt. Let's get right into it. The Matt's Music Minute brought to us by Natalie's. In fact, this week at Natalie's, Sean, B, and DC there tonight. By the way, you've gotten a lot of shout outs, Nick, on the Facebook page. Dennis Shockett said to say hi.
Dennis is great.
Fez said to say hi. I had some other
Dez
people.
Is a great dude.
I apologize. You'll see it on the replay. People reaching out. Cooper and Skylar at Natalie's tomorrow night. Scott and Steph, one of the best duos you'll see around. Drew Scott on Thursday. Then this weekend, the New Normal on Friday, the Pineapple Band Saturday at Natalie's Seafood Kitchen. By the way, go, bro.
Yeah, I heard it's great.
It's unreal.
The patio looked great. I saw you guys.
Dude. Yeah. We'll go have dinner together. You'll love it, man. All right, let's do it, Matt. What do we got, buddy?
All right, so Roger Daltrey from The Who is among those to receive knighthood. Over the weekend, Roger was given a prestigious honor afforded very few rock and roll stars. He was knighted, joining the ranks of peers like Paul McCartney, Rod Stewart, Elton John, and a select few others. You will now address him as Sir Roger Daltrey. The Who frontman was honored for his service to charity, alongside his legendary music career, of course. Daltrey has served as a patron of the Teenage Cancer Trust since 2000, spearheading its annual concert series for more than 2 decades. And he issued a statement that kind of shifted the focus away from himself and onto the charity that he's worked so hard for, being humble about it.
Let me ask you, if you were, and this goes for any of us in the room, if you were that famous, like an icon of 4 generations, would you give a shit about accolades at that point? Being
I don't know,
knighted,
man. It would be pretty cool to be knighted. That's
I was
next
getting
level,
ready to say,
right?
next level. I'm not saying being knighted isn't next level. I think that's bigger than winning an Oscar. You know what I mean?
I'd want him to give me the whole armor suit and a thing, and I'd be on a horse, though, you know?
And a Maid Marian to take home. Yeah. But no, you know what I mean? Like, I think those guys, when they get to that point, I mean, he's got to be near 80, right? It's like he's been told 1,000 times how great he is, what the Who is. Yes, that part's cool. But then he's just like, yeah, I don't want to talk about me anymore. Yeah. I'm doing this now to help kids with cancer or whatever.
I think there's something to be said about, especially the people that grew up in that area and they see the greatest people throughout history become knighted. And it's such a high honor.
My God.
I bet it still is. I mean, I forget whose story was saying that they were super.
Paul McCartney.
It might have been Paul McCartney.
He said, I was in the Beatles. Yeah. I sold out the world. I'm considered one of the greatest songwriters that ever lived. I worked with one of the greatest songwriters that ever lived. I'm known as one of the greatest musicians that ever lived. But being knighted is something I could have never imagined in my life growing up the way I did. That's amazing. That would be like, I don't even know if there's an American equivalent. Like, what's the one that's so hard to get? Is it the Congressional Medal of Honor? That's like the rarest.
Presidential Medal of Honor.
It's one of them's like the equivalent of, well, not knighted, but like equivalent of like the same thing.
Yeah. Well, to be knighted, you have to have a king.
Is that right? So how did the
there's
queen?
No knights if there's no king.
See what he did? See what he did? Nick with an hour and 10-minute callback. That's a good comic right there.
Sorry, I had to.
No, I loved it. I missed it. I'm pissed at myself.
Well, Luke Combs is now been given the honor of being the 2nd highest selling country artist of all time.
All time?
Wow.
Yeah, he made history. The only one he now trails is Garth Brooks. Yeah. You knew that, Nick. Yeah. Here are some of Luke's career accomplishments. He was the first country artist in history to have 2 songs surpass 1 billion streams on Spotify. His song When It Rains, It Pours and his song Beautiful Crazy. Luke's now...
You know, though, I got to be honest. He had 1 billion streams.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 1 out of 8. It's not that big of a deal. There's 8 billion people.
No.
Well, and also a lot of those streams are these streaming farms where there's literally like a room like this and there's 1,000 phones on the wall.
And
that's how
they,
and like, correct me if I'm wrong, I need the facts on this, but I don't think Garth's on any of these streaming sites.
No, Garth was all album sales.
Yeah. I don't think Garth is even. I think Garth did it without, and he doesn't want to be on these streaming sites.
That's his thing.
So it's like,
well, I don't think the artists are getting paid all that well for their Spotify streams, but a lot of them have to be there.
Well, here's the thing. If this is a fact, if you make 1 billion streams, I think you make $7 million. For real. I think that's what it comes out to. I could be wrong, but I think I'm doing the math right. Because I think you make $7 for every 1,000. So wouldn't it be 7 million for 1 billion?
I don't know. I'm a disc jockey.
Yeah, we'll have to ask the business man in the room.
Do you guys know about Chris Gaines?
Oh yeah, Garth's whole other project. Yeah,
that's so hilarious to me.
But
Garth is a wild dude.
He is. We interviewed him one time on the morning show.
Really?
Did you?
For that character, the Chris Gaines.
Yeah.
And he said it was inspired by Prince. That really, he's a huge Prince fan, and he kind of wanted to do like this mysterious sort of rock star persona that he had in him. Said it was very Bowie-like in a way, and all these different. I read a lot about it because I wasn't a country fan, but I find artists that are that big to be interesting no matter what the genre is. You know,
sure.
Yeah, massive.
Yeah.
So Luke's other accomplishments include he's now the first country artist to have 4 songs certified diamond. That means they sold 10 million units each. And then over the weekend, he received 34 new certifications from the Recording Industry Association of America. And in other Luke news, he was lucky enough to headline Bonnaroo before it got rained out, because the second day got rained out. Yeah. And I brought out Miranda Lambert for an awesome rendition of their song, Outrunning Your Memory.
Yeah, I'm not a huge country fan, right? A lot of people around me are. I just don't. I like it every now and then. There's some stuff I really like. You know, I love Red Clay Strays, even though they're not really country. You know, they have a country element to them. But
yeah, I think you and I mean, we both grew up on rock and roll. But, and I would rarely put it on in the car, anything that was country. But
never.
I would love to go see probably most of it live. And then
I don't even know if I would.
Then there's stuff from Garth Brooks that I like. There's stuff from Johnny Cash.
Well, Johnny Cash, that stuff I love.
I'm more of like if I'm listening to country, it's like outlaw country. Like it's different. It's not this. I can't do pop country. I probably couldn't tell you a Luke Combs song.
Yeah, I probably couldn't either.
If you told me him, I'd be like, oh, okay, I probably heard.
I'm with you, and I do like some of that outlaw stuff too. Yeah. I do. I like. Excuse me. There's a lot of bands that have like that sort of southern rock country. You can't really tell. I kind of dig that. Like,
for sure.
You know, also like a lot of gospel-y country, Western.
Like real Americana stuff.
Very Americana stuff. Yeah, I like that shit a lot.
Yep.
You know, I like the soulful, I like slow, great storyteller kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
For sure.
That's why I like a lot of that old British stuff before it got real bombastic. Like the Faces. Like Rod Stewart's original band.
Yeah.
Man. Like songs like Ooh La La and Gasoline Alley, Every Picture Tells a Story.
They're doing a new album.
I know they are, dude. And I mean, it's going to be great. I hope they all stay alive before it's done. You know what I mean? Because they're like 99 years old now.
I know. I think they've been working on it for a while.
Yeah. The good news is that they can do it remote now. So Ronnie can just dial in from the senior center that he lives at. So we're hoping it all works out.
Well, Steve Perry has helped raise over $200,000 for the LA fire victims. There was an auction. The auction of more than 50 items from Steve Perry's archives raised money for those in the LA suburb of Altadena, California, affected by the wildflowers this past January. The total raise was $215,000. And the big seller was the handwritten lyrics to Don't Stop Believin'.
Wow. And that only brought $200,000?
Well, that got $43,500.
Seems light. That seems light.
Yeah, man. I'm with you, man.
The handwritten Don't Stop Believing. Literal every bar closing song out there.
Everything.
Yeah.
It's in my opinion.
43
it's still a lot of money for a piece of paper.
Don't get me wrong, dude.
Yeah.
But let me tell you something. If that was the handwritten lyrics to Highway to Hell or Stairway to Heaven, that ain't going for $43,000.
I would love any of those hanging on my wall.
Yeah, I don't see the lyrics to Don't Stop Believing being in the range that a guy that owns a decent liquor store could buy.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like, to me, I would have put that in the Holy Grail rock and roll collection, man.
Well, I guess they could be a victim to who's in that room bidding on that too,
and how big the auction was.
Yeah,
how they promoted it.
He may have just had it the whole time and thought, I'll give this up for this, not thinking that if he did it nationally, he'd have raised $10 million.
Yeah.
Some idiot would love that song, or some idiot's wife. I want that for my anniversary present.
I would love that, man. How cool would that be to have those lyrics handwritten on your wall?
I'm going to be the minority and the dick on this one. That kind of memorabilia stuff, unless it's like personalized, I don't care about. Like,
what do you mean personalized?
Like I have a couple things that are to me that like the people I got the autographs from or whatever, they said it's to me.
Yeah.
And I know that devalues it immediately.
Yeah, but it's the handwritten lyrics to this iconic song.
It would have to say,
I agree.
This song was written about you, Mickey.
Yeah. No.
Don't stop believing, Mickey.
Don't stop believing. Your podcast is going to be awesome. You know what I actually feel bad about now? Yeah. Like when I do the Baltimore accent, I feel like I'm ripping, what's his name, Stavi?
Stavi.
Yeah, Stavi. I feel like I'm ripping him off, but I was doing this 25 years ago.
Of course.
I know, but he made it his thing. Yeah. So I'm going to, I try not to do it.
Not really. It like went viral for him, but he's like, he has the whole character Ronnie that he was doing.
Yeah.
I feel like he's going to phase that out because he's like, I went to his show.
I barely know him. Yeah. He's from Baltimore. He's hilarious. And I want him to be the biggest comedian in the world.
I went to his show and there was like some drunk idiots like, where's Ronnie? And he's like, Ronnie's a fucking character from the internet. Right. And I'm not doing that. Yeah. So like, and like, he's even talked on his podcast.
Yeah. He doesn't want to
yelling that shit out.
Right. Like, he doesn't want to be Larry the Cable Guy.
That's so funny.
Yeah. He doesn't want to be a character, but I've met him a couple times. We've always been very nice to each other. But to say that I know him is a lie.
Well, I told you
but
that.
I'm a fan.
I had him.
I'm a fan.
I booked him for the Noise in the Basement after party. There were probably 15 people in the room. It was the end of the night. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning. It was the worst crowd ever.
Yeah.
That was the one time I had him at Noise in the Basement.
Yeah.
Man.
I love him, man. I mean, I really don't know him well. I've laughed every time I've ever seen him.
Yeah.
I think I was there the night he either made the finals or for the final of when he won the Magoobies thing. I thought, wow, this kid's awesome. And look what he's done. So
his crowd work has always been out of control.
Yeah. So when I do the Baltimore thing now, it makes me think of him. So I'm like, I shouldn't do this now. Because that like blew up for him.
You've been doing it for a long time.
But I mean,
there's no way he can
you can't claim that.
That's just respect. That's
like somebody trying to get the rights to Hey Hun, right? Remember that whole thing?
Yeah, and especially since I own those.
Yeah.
I own those rights. You know the corporate name to this company? I'm not making this up. Hey Hun Media, LLC.
Oh, shit. So you really do own Hey Hun.
Yeah, I really do own Hey Hun.
Well, that's the name of our company. Yeah.
What else we got, buddy?
So you got to check out this new video. Scott Weiland's son has released a Velvet Revolver cover. Noah Weiland, the son of late Stone Temple Pilots and Velvet Revolver singer Scott Weiland, has covered one of his dad's songs, but he also kind of took a little bit of a shot at two of his father's old bandmates. Noah released a cover of Velvet Revolver's Slither for Father's Day, and it appears that most of the video was done by AI. The clip features AI versions of Slash and Duff McKagan kind of drowning in like a whirlpool of muddy in one scene, and then he has them kissing in another scene. You can check it out on YouTube.
Slash and Duff kissing?
Duff kissing, yeah.
Yeah, listen.
Drowning in money and kissing.
Yeah, I mean.
That's a shot for sure.
Yeah, I mean, that is a shot, not across the bow. That's a direct hit.
That's not even like a metaphor. That's it.
But I do want to say something. Scott Weiland, in my eyes, was a very great frontman and a good singer. I mean, STP was a cool band. I give the credit to
an amazing singer.
Amazing.
Frontman.
But I give the credit to the brothers. They wrote all that shit.
Oh, of course. Yeah.
And I think that Scott was like, to me, he was a great rock star.
He was the personality.
He was the personality.
Yeah.
I go with that. But like, I mean, obviously there's shit we don't know, whether it was they paid Scott less, they did whatever it was, the band deal. That's probably what the son's referring to. And I don't want to besmirch Scott Weiland's son or his dad.
Maybe the after he died, all the winnings did not go to the family. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And I know this from secondhand experience. I was going to say first, but it's really second. When that kind of money is being talked about, it's hard to be friends unless you both can just look at each other and go, look, I deserve this. You deserve that. We good? And both people have to go, yeah. And if both people go, no, I think, for instance, Matt, you and I started a band. I wrote the songs. You're the singer. You're the good-looking guy, whatever. At the end of the day, we go to look at publishing. I could look at you and go, you didn't write a thing, man. I don't owe you anything. Nikki Sixx wrote everything Motley Crue ever did. All 4 members are equal partners. Yeah. You too. All 4 members, equal partners. Isn't it weird? Those bands never really, they had long careers.
Yeah.
You know, one guy's not worth 100 million and the other 2 are worth 10. I mean, you still have a great life, but that's a big psychological thing. So I'm telling you right now, if we ever make it big, you can guarantee what I'm about to say. I'm taking all the fucking money. So no, I'm kidding. You know me.
I got a paper that says different.
I don't give a shit about that stuff.
Yeah.
If we're creating something magical,
yep.
Even if I'm the one that's coming up with it, but you're helping me facilitate it, that's got a value I can't put a dollar frame on.
Of course.
Yeah. You know, now the people above us that look out for your interest and mine, let them argue it. Yeah. You and I sit here and do what we do. Sure. At the end of the day, you're going to talk to your guy. I'm going to talk to my guy. You're going to say yes. I'm going to say yes. And you and I don't have to argue. Right.
Yeah,
I mean,
of course.
That's the way it is.
That's the way it should be.
Luckily for you and me and whoever I do things with, and I don't care. Just be fair across the board. If everybody's fair, then it all works out.
Yeah.
It's what killed Kix. It's what killed Kix. The greatest rock band I've ever seen in my life live. I'm not arguing that.
Wow, it's a shame.
And it's money. I mean, Donnie deserved it, I guess. He wrote everything. I don't know. And I know from what I understand, the reason that band was so great is because he wrote it that was a tight ship. Mm-hmm. They rehearsed. They had fun. And they were all incredible. They were Donnie's songs at the end of the day. Would I have handled it different than Donnie did, knowing I have probably
the best Steve Whiteman?
I'm getting ready to say the best front man in rock.
Yeah.
And then these 2 insanely cool guitar players.
Not to take anything away from the rest of the band.
And then maybe the most solid drummer you could ever want in a band that plays music like that.
Yeah.
And you need to take 90%. I'm not doubting you, buddy. It's your stuff. But you're not doing it anymore, and they were. That's what sucks.
Yeah, I mean, something like that too. It's like, why not divvy it up even and then just take the royalties or publishing at in the back end?
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I think it's control. I think it's ego. Yeah.
That's
I mean, it's
rockstar shit, I guess.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah.
I'm sure you saw a lot of ego and stuff when you were,
Dude, Hammerjacks, I could tell you ego after ego story. I saw a band walk off stage because it was the wrong water bottles. So you know what we did? We said, okay. We ended the night.
Wow.
Didn't even let them play and didn't pay them.
Who was that?
I'm not saying. But it was actually a local thing.
It was a local band?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
The wrong water bottles.
Yeah. We specifically said this type of water.
Our rider had Fiji on it.
Yeah. It was something that simple, Nick. And it was pretty crowded. Wasn't completely sold out. They did very well. And they were coming up. So they were playing the Rockstar game with their manager, who was pretty substantial at the time.
Played on the local level. That's awful, though, man.
At the mecca of where you want to play in your own market.
Right, sure.
And you treat the club that finally says, yeah, you've earned it. Come on, man.
Yeah.
Saturday night. Headline. Hell yeah. You sold 1,200 and some, 1,300 tickets. Way to go. Oh, what's wrong? We didn't get the right water? There's the exit. Get the fuck out. That's exactly what was told to him.
So what happened to him after that?
They made it up, and you've seen them many times.
Okay.
Maybe. I mean, you could have seen them many times.
Yeah.
But, I witnessed a lot of crazy things. Wild stuff.
Did they make it out of Baltimore is what I'm asking you.
No.
Gotcha.
No.
All right.
And that's the reason why. That's what destroyed that band, by the way, eventually. You want another one? I can give you I can give you ego stories all day. This was a really funny one. I can't remember the name of the band. They have one hit, And 98 Rock was playing the shit out of it, right? Just nonstop, like, not Trickster, but it was like Fire Hat. Not them, but like that, like a one hit.
Were they from Maryland or?
No.
Okay.
They were like a California thing.
Yeah.
Came through during the hair metal. So they come in. The show is sold out. And their rider was like insane. So we advanced the show. And the tour manager was like, listen, man, I know we threw a bunch of stuff on you. Let me explain why. We're on the road. We have a day off. And we need to collect some stuff on tour, blah, blah, blah. We just got the day off so we can hit a store. So we don't need you to provide a lot of this stuff. So we were like, oh, cool. They're being reasonable.
Yeah.
So he goes, all right, I'll send you an updated rider. So they sent the updated rider. It's the same thing. So not me, the other guy calls and he's like, hey, I got the same one. He's like, yeah, I talked to the band. They insist on it. We're like, okay. So we went out. We got everything.
Yeah.
Everything they wanted. Every detail, including colored toothpicks. It was dumb shit like that.
Yeah.
Right? Everything. Their contract said start time 10:45. They went on at 10:51. They didn't get paid.
Really? Because
They broke their contract.
Yeah, you want to play stupid games.
And that's exactly what was told to them. When they go, the tour manager was like, what do you mean you're not paying us? And we went, we provided you everything that we agreed to. You didn't provide us what you agreed to. And they were like, and we're like, the stage was empty at 10:45 waiting for you. You were not on time and you were not ready. Cost us 7 minutes.
That's hardball, man.
Dude, it was like, and I listen, I'm a young kid, like 20, 21, and I'm like watching this unfold right in front of my face. And it was like, oh my God. And dude, the first one, I learned something. First one to talk next loses. Because the person had said, you're not getting paid. And then that guy sat there for a minute and he went, is there anything we can do to work this out? And he said, yeah, apologize. Go downstairs and apologize to all our employees and tell them that you're more important than everyone in this building. And the guy went like this. That's what it takes. Okay. And then our guy just went, I just needed to know you would do it. Here's your money. Get the fuck out. It's exactly what he said.
Wow.
Here's your money. Get the fuck out. And it was like, I never heard from that band again, by the way.
I'm sure, man.
But I will find out the name. I have no problem telling that.
That's kind of like the old Van Halen story
M&Ms?
about the M&Ms. You know the story about that, though?
Yeah, like that it was just, they knew that if they did that, everything else on the contract would be right.
Right. So they said, whatever it was no brown M&Ms.
No brown, yeah.
So they knew if they came in and they saw a jar with brown M&Ms in it, they didn't read all the safety stuff from the rest of their riders. So people thought they were, a bunch of jerks, but really it was kind of ingenious. The way
it was absolutely genius.
It rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, I think.
Yeah. I mean, look, 90 times I looked at riders at Hammerjacks or comedy clubs that I've owned, and you get these riders and you just call the guy and you go, hey, do you really need all this shit? 95% of the time they go, no. Like there's times on there where there's like socks. You got to give them socks. You got to give them underwear. You got to give them things like that, right? Yeah. A bag of 12 white T-shirts. That is not because they just want to they're on tour.
Yeah.
They're literally driving from show to show. They can't stop. So they go, look, man, here's what it is. We need this, that. And Baltimore was a midway point on a lot of tours. Starting Boston to Florida, we're halfway. So bang, reload right there. Bang. We knew we were getting hit for some things other venues weren't, but we also got breaks on things.
Well, and but they ultimately pay for that.
The
band ultimately. Yeah.
Not really. Not really.
They pay the promoters for that.
No, not really. It's part of the cost of the show.
Sure. I'm saying they work that all into the cost, but the band.
Put it this way: if a band says we want $100,000, right? If the band says we want $100,000 plus our rider, that's what the promoter pays. It's not $100,000 and then, oh, you owe me $2,000 for the food. It's not that.
Yeah.
You pay what it costs to put on the show.
Yeah.
It's all part of the production as the promoter. You pay for the whole show, including feeding the band, the crew. There were some nights where the food bill, $3,000. These huge crews. Then you got Hammerjacks people that have to come in and load in. You're feeding 150 people.
Yeah.
And you're feeding them. It's it's some of that stuff. It's wild.
It really is.
Yeah. It's the concert business is fun as hell, and when it's working, it's incredible. You know what I mean? But when it's down to that shit, you're like, oh my God. Hey, did anybody pick up the aluminum foil? Like, it's that kind of dumb shit.
I got a couple of friends who were the gophers for all that stuff,
Yeah.
man. And you got to drive
Matt,
all over
the
town with
industry-
some crazy stuff.
Please have respect, Matt. Those
The
are
runners.
Runners.
Yes,
Thank you.
yes, yes.
Not
Sorry.
the gophers.
Sorry, runners. My apologies.
Did you guys cover the Turnstile concert?
Well,
at
yeah,
all?
we did, man.
We talked about that.
10,000 kids
10,000
showed up
kids.
at Carroll Park.
Incredible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I hope that band goes on to be huge. Are they?
They're already huge.
But
man.
are they from here?
They're from Baltimore.
Yeah,
I love it. I never heard a song. I'm already a fan.
You know, that whole hardcore scene is huge here. I mean,
Yeah.
that's what's hot right now. That's where those guys came from. I mean, they blew up. They've been on some major festivals and major tours, and
That's awesome.
they're really crushing it.
Love
now.
it. Love it.
Yeah,
Love it.
Yeah.
All American Rejects is doing some similar stuff right now. Where
Are they
they're-
really?
Where they're like playing house parties.
Yeah, we were talking
Oh,
about that.
oh, yeah.
yeah,
I'm sorry. Yeah, we
yeah.
did talk about that.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Super
And
cool.
Yeah.
That's Matt's Music Minute, by the way.
All right. Thank you, Matt. Now, Nick, thank you so much for doing the show.
Appreciate you guys having me.
Did you have a good time?
It was awesome.
You'll be back.
It was great.
One more time, the name of your restaurant?
Riverside Pub and Grill, right off exit 80.
I've been there. I'm telling you, the food's great. You can take my word for that. Nick, what's the name of Wood Nights? Is it Comedy Nights Mondays?
Comedy's every other Monday, so it's tonight, and it'll be in 2 weeks.
Nice. And you do a big show there once a month too, right?
We
Like a
do
Saturday
we do
show.
a quarterly show every
Yeah.
every couple months, and we do. You did one for
It
us,
was
and
awesome.
Yeah, it's a dinner and a show thing. Do it in our private room, so yeah, keep an eye out for that. We do a cool little comedy show.
And I'm going to tell you one thing, and I know you know this, but it was important to me too. One of the things I really love about working with you is your mom and your sister and your wife show up to support you.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
family was like my mother, and my brother and sister would come to see me 1,000 times, man. So I hope you know how special and dear that
Yeah,
really
that
is,
is
man.
awesome. Yeah,
And it's you're very fortunate, man. Never ever forget that. Tell your sister and mom I said hello, by
will
the way.
do. My sister's a huge fan.
I'm a
I need
huge
to-
fan of your sister.
I think she just comes. I think she just comes for you, honestly.
Here's the thing. The first time I met your sister, I was like, damn, she's really cool. She's pretty, all this. And then I heard somebody go, she has a boyfriend. And I was like, son of a bitch. Son of a bitch. But nah, she's great, man. She's super sweet.
She's cool.
And your mom's cool as shit,
Yeah,
dude.
mom's cool.
Yeah, your mom's awesome. Tell them I said hi. Matt,
Will do.
who do we have tomorrow on the big show? Anybody?
We've got Christy Breslin
Oh!
from Channel 2 coming in tomorrow.
Look at this. You're in
Nice.
company with huge
Yeah.
stars around here,
Nice.
Nick.
Look at that.
I mean, you got the Monday. All right. That's the kickoff show,
heck
buddy.
yeah,
All
heck
right.
yeah.
So don't let anybody tell you you're nobody. You got to go before Christy Breslin from Channel 2 News.
I bumped her actually.
Yeah, you bumped. She was originally scheduled for today, Matt. We got Nick, so we had to move her.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm excited to talk to her.
I
That's
am
going to be
too.
fun,
Yeah,
man. I've
yeah,
known
she-
her a long time. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
we've watched her basically.
We worked together at
Yeah.
the TV station for a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great person. Look, get a lot of fun stories out of her. Can't wait.
Yep.
Anybody else coming up this week we need to mention?
We do. I'll take a look at the book.
Yeah, go ahead. Look at that. And Nick, any big shows coming up you need to let people know about?
I don't have any big shows. I've kind of taken the summer, just taking it easy this summer. The
Yeah.
restaurant gets so busy that I got to kind of focus there.
Good for you, man.
Like Fridays and Saturdays are big comedy nights, and
Yeah.
I'm at the restaurant. So
I get it.
Trying to get the podcast back rolling, get our studio up and going right now.
Well, you're
So
welcome to use this one if you
This
need
is
any.
beautiful. This is
Thank
great.
you, man.
I
Thank
wouldn't know
you.
what to do in here. This is awesome.
Don't worry, Matt will tell you what to do. He tells me what to do. I just do it. So Matt knows
But
everything.
yeah, this is great, man. And nothing upcoming right now. Just doing the quarterly shows at the pub. And
And I'm going to tell everybody that goes to see Nick. One of my favorite bits that I've seen a comedian do, the bit about having a mixed child
yeah,
is. I'm not going to make you do it on the podcast, but it's one of the best bits I've ever seen. It's phenomenal. Man.
I got a couple bits to interflow and,
Yeah.
and relate to him. Yeah,
Yeah, it's great stuff, man. And
Do you have social media, Nick?
I do. I have Swayze Studios on Instagram, and then Nick DiCarlo on Facebook, and Swayze Studios and on YouTube. And you catch the podcast on there and clips.
Awesome.
And whatnot.
What's the name of your podcast?
Slippery Stallions.
Okay.
Slippery Stallions podcast.
Nice.
that was my nickname in high school, by the way, Slippery Stallion.
Mine too. That's right. That's right.
Nick, thanks, buddy. Good seeing
Appreciate
you, man.
you guys having me.
All right,
Thank
Matt,
you.
we'll see you tomorrow, right? We'll
Yes,
be
sir.
here
Yeah,
5
subscribe
o'clock.
to the YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/@MickeyTalksPod. And we're on all the social media platforms. Find us everywhere.
All right, everybody else. Tomorrow at 5, we do this fun all over again. See everybody then. Bye.